It's Caner Tip Tuesday, and we are straight off of winter cane immersion, and boy, that one was a dandy. Stick to the end of today's segment, and I will give you information and dates on fall cane immersion, which is already starting to fill up. Today, we're going to take a look. We get the question asked all the time: what is the best way to carry your cane for self-protection? And before we launch into that, a warm welcome as always to those of you who are faithful followers of the Cane Fist Way, as well as those who are landing here for the first time. Two things you want to do straight off the bat. If you like the content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so that you don't miss any future content. And avail yourself of the #1 resource. It's a no-cost resource. You want to text the letters CCC for Cane Clarity Call to 305-745-7839. In less than 24 hours, the staff will schedule you. We'll be on a call and just map out, find out where you are right now. Come as you are. No training, injuries, limitations, whatever it is, because bad guys don't care. We will map out a plan that you can get trained and be your very best in 2022. So what is the best way to carry your cane? So I should preface this by saying that ACSD, we teach you two main ways of carrying your cane, and that is where the cane tip, in both of these, the cane tip is making contact with the floor. So if we tilt the camera just a tad there, you'll be able to see that that cane tip touches here. This is called when the horn, this is the horn, right? People call it the hook. This is the crook, this is the horn, and this is pointing towards you. That is a standard grip. If it's pointing away from you, that is a reverse grip. And so those are the two ways that we teach you to do this. And somewhere in between something is brewing, you have the possibility in that scenario that, hey, you could go from here to here, and so, but you wouldn't hang around with it like this. Just because you can legally carry it doesn't mean I'm going to be thumbing my nose at security and hanging around, with it here. I point this out because a lot of times, if you're watching presentations of, instructors say, well, let me demo this. A lot of times you'll see them start from right here, and I don't recommend you do this. I recommend you start it from here, and then students have to, as a point of practice, as someone is approaching, then you have to choke up. We call that choking up, which basically means to adjust the hand spacing on the cane. If you're just starting off cane training, you're going to find that most of the time either you have too little cane, meaning you didn't choke up enough for the application you're trying to do, or too much. And so there's a sweet spot in there, and it requires training, right, and instruction. But there are advantages to carrying it in a standard grip, and that is that if you're going into power shot mode, this is the very basic way of doing it. Notice that either way, the horn is pointing away from you because the horn is there to protect you. The cane precedes you. That's one of our tactical principles. And so, gosh, I'm already ready to go into power shot mode, and I feel pretty good about this. As far as walking around with it, you notice that your wrist is going to be in a bit of flexion. From a biomechanical viewpoint, just to take the stress off that wrist, we like the reverse grip, and that's what I'm going to focus in today, where that horn is pointing away from you. And a lot of you look and you say, I don't like it. How do I move from there? And a lot of it just has to do with your training. You're going to respond. You're going to be limited by what your training allows you to do. That's another way of saying that. So I like it here because you can rest the hand and you see that it's more in line. There's no flexion there, especially if you have one of these palm rests, right? As far as comfort, that is just really neat. And then from here you can move. So I'll give you 3 advantages, or 3 different ways that you can use this reverse grip, and show you why we like it. Got to train with both. Got to train with both. As a matter of fact, the way we do it with ACSD, you may have noticed, opening segments, I have a cane tossed at me. I don't sit there analyzing how today the cane was tossed, and caught it with my left by design, and by the time I spun around, I already have it in my right. That is just kinesthetic training, right? And just familiarizing yourself with the tool. So from that reverse grip, I like the fact that there's 3 ranges and 3 different type of ways that we can defend with this for self-defense. And the first one is that right from the shaft, I can go ahead and start striking. So I'm using the real deal here. I move from here. Those of you that were just here in the ACB, the cane boxing, notice that when I have it, when I choke up from here to here, it's already in a position much as I would strike this way. I can strike with the shaft at a distance, and it's still very difficult to predict where it is I'm going to strike. So I can strike low to the knee, I can strike up higher to that elbow of the limb, I can strike if I needed to the head, but I can also come down to the clavicle. And if you're not used to doing this, I suggest that you strike a bag with a heavy bag and come in here and do that. You also have that very specific ACB, which we call an upper hook, which comes on this plane. It's not quite a number 3. It comes in here, and it's not quite that hooking motion, but it comes through here. And it's designed to split a two-handed push, an attack, a guard, something to that effect. But this is one of the reasons why we like it, is because you can train yourself to be effective with multiple strikes. And there is power there when you coordinate the whole thing. If I do, this is, for instance, those of you that are familiar in the ACSD Power Shot template, this is a number 3. Notice that it's the same thing. Here you are in your standard grip. All I'm doing is I just switch the grip here. Again, try it on a bag so that you can start training your forearms, your wrists, and the rest of your body. So that's one of the ways we can strike with it. You can also strike low, so that if I don't want any trouble, he moves in, and I can go ahead and strike the limb. So if he steps in here, I can go ahead and do it without looking at him, but I can also go the other way with this, right, and strike out here and then follow up. You gotta love that about this particular way of carrying the cane reverse grip. The second one is that you can go to the horn itself and the crook. And you've seen this, and now it serves both ways. I can clear so that in a multiple assailant situation, I'm letting them know that I know how to use this. And you can hear it. I'm gonna remove the tip off of here so it doesn't fly out, but you hear that, right? And especially if you do it at the level of the eyes, nobody sees that and comes forward. They would have to, at the very least, move back and away. So that's one of the ways you can be very effective striking from the horn and crook. As a matter of fact, some have asked, why do you even go to the shaft where it's a very different feel? Here's very secure. Try striking on a bag. Notice that when I do this, my elbows are still in that guard zone, what we refer to in ACSD as the guard zone. Doesn't matter if I'm coming here, how it is, however it is that I'm moving, I'm still very effective from there. I can also pinpoint, believe it or not. So if he's coming in, I can go down here, either to the knees, the lower body, yes, even to the groin. You've seen this, and then come over. It's a shot that's difficult to stop, because the minute I do this, even if I'm not effective with this shot, it makes him react to it. Now the next best thing is he's gonna have to block this, and it happens quick, right? There's your follow-up to it. So you have the advantage of, I'm in a reverse grip, I can choke up, go to the shaft, or I can stay in the horn and crook and still be effective with it if I know what I'm doing. The third component is that if he does happen to break through, or I get ambushed and I'm here, I can just choke up, use that horn in a variety of ways. He comes to put his hands, I can partition that, go ahead and strike in deep. I can come in and choke, use him as a shield if I need to. He takes the shaft in here. Oh, it just makes matters worse for him. So up close, in the range where he comes in here, you can go ahead and do those finger locks that we like to do right with that palm rest, and just lock him up, use it from here. You have the checking mechanism here. And so that's what we believe. This is just very versatile. One little bonus here for you. Regardless, you should be able to go from here to the shaft and now have it in standard. You see how I did that? The point here is not to slow this down and show you exactly how I did that. We call that gunslinger, cane slinger. We do that we drill. We have different drills for it at the master's level. But the point is that regardless of how I'm carrying this, if I have my hand up here on the horn, I should be able to get to the shaft, take a step back if I need to. If I don't feel comfortable with what's brewing and I feel more comfortable here, I should be able to do that. By the same token, if I am here, I'm in a reverse grip, and I want to go, or I'm in this shaft grip, I should be able to go into that reverse grip if I need to. And I should be able to do whatever I do to my right, I do to my left. I should be ambidextrous with that. That, of course, requires training. So to summarize, if we have the luxury of saying, hey, I want to be in one particular grip, we prefer that reverse grip where the horn is pointing away from you. Not only is it easier on the wrist, but it's just so versatile. At the end of the day, however they toss the cane at you, it's leaning up against the wall. You may not have the time. You're coming out of your car. You don't have it with you at that time. You might need an empty hand skill set. Then reach for your cane, and however it comes, right? So one more thing. Since we just were dealing with the ACB, when we come from here to here, I can strike and jab out, use those jabs with the horn right from my reverse. I can turn it and use the palm rest as well. It's the only time that you'll have that horn pointing towards you, and it would make sense is if you have that palm rest and you're working it as a hammer, you're jabbing with it. So if you stuck through this to this point, I hope that was of value to you, and it opens your eyes, because everybody I know you prefer that standard grip. In the fall, winter cane immersion just happened, and if you go to our Facebook, our public Facebook page at American Cane Self-Defense, you can see the photos there. Fantastic. All the caners, so proud of everyone in there, from the caners who came over to the staff. We do another one always. The fall cane immersion happens in September. The dates for 2022 are September 20th through the 23rd. So Tuesday night, we have the bonus training. We already have one of those bonuses down. We're going to be revealing that soon. Some of you who attended here got a little taste of it, hint. And then we go Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for a total of about 17 hours in a small, intimate group in here. We always limit participation for your best experience, but it's not too early to start making plans for that. Text Fall 2022 to 305-745-7839. Let's have a conversation and make sure that is a training event that would be right for you. I'm Joe Robaina for American Cane Self-Defense. Thanks for watching. Keep caning. Stay safe.